Hi, and welcome back to the Skull Survivor devlog. Right now, I am working on adding additional weapons. And one thing I thought was pretty cool was that giving Chat GPT a few shot learning. And so I just wanted to show you this before I got started implementing. Um, so here we go. So the prompt I gave was, for the weapons, axe, dark sword, demon staff, golden sword, nature staff, spike club, and stone sword. I just gave it a few shot learning, and then it came up with the additional items. And so it was pretty cool because the axe, it already increases AoE. The golden sword is kind of the default weapon, does nothing special. Nature staff collects the souls at a greater distance, but then it kind of extrapolated. The dark sword deals extra damage to enemies. The demon staff curses enemies, dealing damage over time. Spike club has a chance to stun enemies, and stone sword reduces the incoming damage when equipped. And that's pretty cool because those things can, would fit perfectly in the theme. So thought that was neat. And kind of all we need to do if we want to add the dark sword here, which is kind of dubbed the Nightfall Reaper. We can add a damage multiplier onto it and drop that into the weapon upgrades, and it would work pretty quickly. So I'm just going to go and add it to the list here of unlockables, and we're going to take a look real fast. I'll turn off the audio this time. And so go to play, and we can kind of see it in the list here. So the Nightfall Reaper, and maybe we need to add a little bit more to the description here, but that's why I'm not too concerned with the display here. We're still kind of tinkering with those things, but yeah, let's get into it. So we had the weapon upgrade. And really we just need the weapon damage to pull the current weapon and then use it. And so we need tests, that will then show, will add additional damage based on it. So we have this test weapon hits with a magnitude. And I think what we can do is just make sure that we have that weapon upgrade. Based on this test, write a new test proving the damage for the dark sword is higher when selected. The API to select the sword from the test is, and then I think we had basically selected the default weapon, and then basically hit the enemy with it, but we need to make sure that the weapon used is the current one. So this would be something like this. Let's see. Yeah, so that would create an additional damage test. So we just need this API, and it should give us a test that grabs the correct sword. And oh yeah, so it's selecting the golden sword and then selecting the dark sword. I think we split this into two tests. Split this into two tests. One for golden sword and the other for dark. Here are the two separate tests. So we pick up the sword, spawn the enemy, hit them with it. It does some damage. Then we do the same thing with the dark sword, and it should have increased damage. So then we just run those two tests. The first test I think should pass, just because I think it's a copy of that first test with the added detail, but we can take a look. So yeah, basically deleting all the preferences. It's selecting the golden sword, picking it up, calling all enable, start, yep, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, so this test is probably, yeah, we can probably leave them both in there. It'd be fine, but one's going to fail and one's going to pass. I guess we should look at the dark sword. So the dark sword here, it's saying that, yeah, it's just saying that we want the damage to be higher, but if we tinker with it, we shouldn't worry too much about what the multiplier is, because we're gonna have to like figure that out later. So we're gonna go back into Unity, run the tests. We should now see additional tests around it. And of course it's not greater yet. So then we just want to make sure that we improve that. Let's see, test dark sword damage. And we're going to jump into weapon hits enemies. And yeah, I think somewhere on start, we're going to need to grab that information from somewhere. So we have this damage upgrade, which is part of the normal upgrades, but we also need the weapons. So we're going to just say public player options, player options. And so now the thing that has weapon hits enemies on it can just cache the current weapon selected. Whoops. Weapon equals this, get selected weapon. And we're going to just grab a field for that. And we're going to, yeah, so that the damage upgrade is unlocked, we're going to do that. And we're going to say if selected weapon dot get unlock level is, I guess, greater than 0. And actually, we don't want to run that code every time it hits because it's not performant. So what we're going to do is also get the unlock level here. Selected weapon unlock level equals this. Oh, actually, no, we don't even need that. We can just say, we know it's unlocked. We've already selected it. So all we need to do is the damage modifier. So, in reality, let's see, magnitude equals that. Okay, so we know we need magnitude equals magnitude times dot damage multiplier. Okay. And that does not exist yet. So we're going to go and populate that on our weapon settings. And now we can go back over here. A couple things we need to do. Dark sword should have a damage multiplier, but our compiler is not compiling. We want this to be a float. That's true. Our magnitude is an int, however. So we're going to need to intify this, add explicit cast. And those casts are not great. We can always refactor later if we have performance issues. All right. So that all looks good. So first thing is dark sword needs maybe a 1.2 multiplier. We get a 20% damage increase with the dark sword. We get an AoE increase with the axe, and we get with the nature staff we get a collection radius increase. So that's pretty cool. the test will now fail on a null exception because our weapons no longer instantiate properly. So we're going to jump in here, grab the weapon, weapons player skull, and we're going to go in to the weapon hits enemies, which is in here somewhere. Weapons hit enemies right there. We're going to give it the player options. And now I do have a problem when we run the tests. If it doesn't properly save the prefab, it just resets everything. So that's a huge pain. I'm going to run that 2 times just to make sure it's still working. And the tests work. So now if we go buy that weapon, we should see it doing additional damage. So I guess dev tools, give me a bunch of gold. There we go. Nightfall Reaper, unlock it, continue, imp, verdant valley of shadows. And now our damage numbers should be considerably higher. And so it's hard to tell there. So let's just have a little fun here. And on the dark sword, let's just do like a 200 damage multiplier. It should just melt through everything like butter. So Nightfall Reaper, continue, verdant valley of shadows. All right, so I should be able to one-shot everything just by a slight swing. Oh yeah, 48,000. There we go. Yeah, those are some pretty high damage numbers here. So yeah, that's pretty cool actually. Because then, yeah, maybe I'll have it even do double damage just to make it really sweet. But now you're collecting all this experience on the floor, and it is hard to get to. So I think the nature staff is almost like what I would go for. Anyway, that was awesome. So thanks for joining me, and we will add more functionality as time goes on. Like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and we'll see you all later. Bye, everybody.